Thanks to our magnificent brains, most of us live out our lives under the delusion that we are in control. But are our brains truly in control? Makes you think, doesn't it? Engrossed in the thrilling cinematic exploits of their ancestors, the freelance police have had no time to ponder these eternally vexing questions. But in mere moments, they and you will be plunged headfirst into these murky philosophical depths when Sam returns from his ill-timed bathroom break to discover they stole Max's brain.
Max? Little buddy? No, 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 no! No!
What happened?
Hey! What happened to Max? Talk!
We don't know! 1 second we were guarding the devil's toy box, then BAM! Out went the lights!
Through a fog of rage, darkness, and raisinets, I tried to remember what Flint Paper told me about interrogating suspects.
Rule number 1, don't let the suspect control the conversation. Get him talking, then surprise him. Interrupt him with a question, or call him a liar, freak him out. And if all else fails, bring little Miss Persuasion out for a stroll.
Actually, I think it was more of a boom, really.
You say the lights went out? That light was joy. And it's getting snuffed out all over the city, dragging us all into a sea of blackness.
Can we go? Your gramifieds are really bringing us down.
And we're in a doomsday cult!
No! Keep talking!
Well, that's the last thing we remember until you woke us up and started snarling at us.
Yeah, that's the last thing we remember.
Rule number 2, timing is everything. When you hear the suspect lying, that's when you jump in and accuse him.
Yup, I was totally unconscious.
Liar!
All right. I came to before Jebediah, just in time to hear the telltale sounds of a brain being removed from a bunny.
Obadiah, why didn't you do anything?
I was afraid. Afraid that he'd remove my brain too.
Who? Who took Max's brain?
It was the space gorilla.
Skunk Ape!
Of course! He must have been released from the penal zone when the toy box was stolen.
I'm so sorry.
Not half as sorry as that brain-stealing space ape's gonna be when I catch up with him.
Rule number 3, mole men are easy. To crack the tough nuts, you'll need information to prove your case. Sometimes you gotta ask around to get the dirt on the doers. Now, go get 'em!
I wrote a mental note to thank Flint at Max's funeral and got ready to squeeze some punks. General Skunk Ape. I should have known. That space ape had wanted Max's brain ever since he found out it was special. Now that special brain was gone, and I was cut loose, drifting in the neon current, hoping for a lucky break. Hello, ugly. You're one of Skunk Ape's goons. Where's your boss? What did he do to my little buddy?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk-Ape since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimensional bound. Are you trying to threaten me with that?
Maybe.
You are aware that my ultra-dense space gorilla hide renders me impervious to your puny Earth bullets, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Where were we?
Since Skunk-Ape's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling, though.
You can't reevaluate your way out of fate, chump. We're all headed for a pine box and a boilerplate eulogy, and you can't change that any more than a tiger can change his pants.
You possess a very depressing worldview.
It comes with the territory when someone cuts out your partner's brain.
Enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this
Rat? What rat?
Frankie the rat. He traffics in stolen merchandise and tawdry gambling rings.
Where can I find him?
He hangs out on the corner of Veni and Vidi in the Latin Quarter.
Frankie the Rat. The name left a bad taste on my tongue and an itchy sensation in my boxers. Still, there wasn't a rodent more plugged into the bad wiring in the city. Hey, Rat.
Sam, buddy, how's it hanging?
My partner's got a bad case of a missing brain, and someone thinks you might know something about it.
Brain, huh? Well, I did see something unusual and brain-related a little while back.
Spill!
I was given directions to a confused tourist. Poor fellow was wandering around in sight.
The city's full of lost little lambs, and most of the Bo Peeps are just leading them to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah. You want to hear this story or just try and get me all depressed?
Sorry.
Anyway, I was almost done helping the guy, see? When BAM! All of a sudden, this space ape comes barreling down the street, fighting with some other mook. A space ape carrying a brain!
Skunk Ape.
I hadn't seen anything that weird since Aunt Jacqueline's vacation slides from Pismo Beach, with the jellyfish on the water skis. Anyways, so I grabbed the tourist, and we ducked behind a bunch of crates with the other gorilla. We kept our heads down until the fight moved on down the street. And that's all I know about the space ape what took your buddy's brain. No fooling. That's all I know. I don't...
Other gorilla? What other gorilla?
Believe it or not, it was another space ape. He was spinning a sign for some pet store, the poor schlub.
So that dirty punk sign spinner did see Skunk Ape.
So now what?
One more time. What do you know about my partner's brain?
It's like I was telling you. I was given directions to a confused tourist. Poor fella was wandering around in circles.
You're lying!
Prove it!
I can't!
Then quit spraying me with spittle and let me finish. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. I was almost done helping the guy, see? When bam! All of a sudden, this space ape comes barreling down the street, fighting with some other mook. A space ape carrying a brain!
Skunk Ape.
I hadn't seen anything that weird since Aunt Jacqueline's...
What happened next?
So I grabbed the tourist, and we ducked behind a bunch of crates with the other gorilla. We kept our heads down until the fight moved on down the street. And that's all I know about the space ape what took your buddy's brain. Yipes! Stop doing that! It ain't good for my angina. So now what?
One more time. What do you know about my partner's brain?
It's like I was telling you. I was given directions to a confused tourist. Poor fella was wandering around in
Where?
Hey, take it easy, big fella. I sent him right over that way, about 2 miles.
Frankie the Rat helping a tourist? It was absurd. Absurd like Max was, back when he had a brain. So imagine my surprise when I found Frankie's tourist wandering around the bad side of town.
Oh! Ah!
You, foreign guy, what's your story?
Ooh, an American police shakedown! How thrilling!
Yeah, it's a real honor. Now, what do you know?
Well, about an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats.
And Frankie sent you here?
Yeah,
That dirty lion rat.
you know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country.
Another lost soul on the highway of life, forced to get directions from the rats at their feet.
Excuse me? I'm afraid I don't understand your gritty American metaphors and allusions. Ausgewählt? I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your asphalt fjords. At least I think it was a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. Might have been more of an Ödeler Spokenfreundl affair. But I digress.
Ultra soup colored what now?
A Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. My people's word for a stunning battle between a strangely garbed man and an alien space gorilla carrying a brain in a jar. So, where was I? Oh, yes! After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else? I'm starting...
Liar!
Moi? Lie? How dare you make such an accusation without a shred of proof? When I get back to the hotel, I will report you to the European consulate at once.
Fine.
Fine. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. People in this country are so intense!
The tourists seemed like just another victim circling the drain, but I knew there was more to the story. It was time to circle back and flush out the truth. Frankie, what do you know?
I was given directions to a confused tourist.
To the museum district?
Yeah, poor fella was wandering around in sight.
Don't lie to me, Frankie. I talked to your tourist, and it looks to me like you sent him over to the wrong side of town to get rolled by your rat pack.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But this conversation is over. I ain't saying nothing till I get some legal representation. The nerve of some people, trampling a...
Do you want a lawyer? Here's an attorney from Smith & Wesson.
Okay, I'll talk. Sheesh. Like you guessed, I gave the tourist directions to the bad side of town, but I was just winding them up, really. Hey, ask me, the schmuck deserved it. Acting all high and mighty and European, wearing his fancy socks. When the big fight broke out, me, the tourist, and the other gorilla ducked down behind a crate, and I, picked their pockets. The tourist was loaded with high-exchange European stuff, but all the other guy had was funny-look...
Other gorilla? What other gorilla?
Believe it or not, it was another space ape. He was spinning a sign for some pet store, the poor schlub.
So that dirty punk sign spinner did see Skunk Ape.
Anyway, after the fight moved on, the tourist got a nice souvenir for his trouble, and I skedaddled back here. And that's all I know, honest. Ask anybody. They'll vouch for old Frankie, if they know.
Ah!
You're welcome.
Frankie, what do you know?
Like you guessed, I gave the tourist directions to the bad side of town, but I was just winding them up, really. Hey, ask me, the schmuck deserve...
What?
You know, the bad side of town, Hoboville, Flemberg, Broken Corners, that area. Anyway, when the big fight broke out, me, the tourist, and the other gorilla ducked down behind a crate, and I, picked their pockets. The tourist was loaded with high-exchange European stuff.
Other gorilla? What other gorilla?
Believe it or not, it was another space ape. He was spinning a sign for some pet store, the poor schlub.
So that dirty punk sign spinner did see Skunk Ape.
Anyway, after the fight moved on, the tourist got a nice souvenir for his trouble, and I skedaddled back here. And that's all I know, honest. Ask anybody. They'll vouch...
Souvenir?
Yeah, something fell out of the funny hat guy's pocket, and the tourist scooped it up.
What was it?
I don't know, something.
So the tourist didn't leave empty-handed after all.
So what now?
Stick around. I may be back.
I shall count the minutes.
Something Frankie said about the tourist was sticking in my craw like a spoonful of peanut butter, chunky style.
Ooh, a repeat performance.
Let's run through it one more time. And speak slowly. I'm an American.
As I said before, about an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats. You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country's rats, but this Frankie was so gracious and helpful. Anyhow, I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your asphalt fjords. At least I think it was Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. Might have been more of an ödeler Spuckenfreund left there. But I digress. After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else?
Don't play innocent with me, metric lover. The rat saw you pick up something after the fight. Now spill!
Yeah, it's true. I took a souvenir from the fight. I didn't think anyone would notice. Here.
Norrington? Who the heck is Norrington?
I don't know. Just don't hurt me. You Americans are all animals. Animals.
Finally, a clue. Norrington. The name rang fewer bells than a sleigh in July. Fortunately, it didn't need to. Crimetron, do your stuff! What do you mean not found in database?
The Crimetron requires additional clues to make an informed deduction.
Clues? I haven't got time for clues. Max's body is starting to smell. Differently.
Then maybe you should stop yelling at my girlfriend and start with the clue-finding.
Grrr. I'm back! Now where's Skunk Ape?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunkapi since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified.
That story ain't gonna wash, Bonzo. Your pal Frankie told me all about how you and he hid from a fight between Skunk Ape and some other guy. Now make with the lip flapping and I better like what I hear.
It's true. A few of your Earth minutes ago, I was spinning my sign for Frankie the Rat and a tourist when General Skunkapi came running down the street, chasing after a strangely garbed man. To my everlasting shame, I cowered behind a crate like a common Venusian bonobo as the general and his prey skirmished. After the general and the stranger fled the scene, I discovered that he had dropped this. I'm surprised he didn't come back for it, but he appeared to be in something of a hurry. Oh well.
Give me that toy!
No! I need it to get back in General Skunkapi's good graces! Once I return this artifact to the General, he'll forgive my temporary abandonment of his goals and welcome me back to his crew with open arms. Oh, how I've come to miss standing at my General's side these past...
Huh. You're fooling yourself, kid.
What are you talking about?
The only thing Skunk Ape's gonna welcome you with is a fistful of phasers. You can't go home again. You can't even get on the porch. You've tasted the apple, peed in the pool, bitten the hand that rocks the cradle. You're a sign spinner to him now, and that's all you're ever gonna be.
You're right. It's hopeless. No matter what I do now, I'll never soar through the galaxy at my General's side ever again.
And I hate to tell you, but you're not a very good sign spinner either. I hated to see a grown gorilla cry, so I got in the car and looked for another lost soul to join me as I gazed into the abyss. The last time we saw the rhinoplasty toy, Max's special brain used it to turn into a bazooka. Now it was going to lead me to the guy who stole that special brain. It wasn't exactly ironic, but I didn't care. Okay, Crime-Tron, this is your last chance before I start looking for an upgrade. Come on, you obsolete hunk of junk. Talk! Where's Skunk Ape?
Sam, no!
Stop holding out on me!
Get away from her, you brute.
Finally.
Audiences across the country say, you're a monster, Sam.
What have you become?
The Museum of Mostly Natural History, the tarnished jewel of the city's once thriving museum district. Max and I always meant to visit, but we'd never gotten around to it. Now we were finally going to take in its thrilling and dubiously educational displays with a vengeance. All right, Skunk Ape, it's time to pay the piper, plus tax and applicable service fees.